Good morning, everyone, and happy Canada Day to you. It is Tuesday, July 1st, 2014, and this is the Quantum Leap pre-market analysis and homework session. My name is Doug McKay. I am the founder and head moderator of Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap is not a commercial venture. It is a private venture. We are a group of retail traders. We've been getting together in a private Skype chat room coming up on 5 years now. And we come in and talk about the market and talk about trading and market observations. If you're interested in checking it out, you can send me a contact request. You will need a Skype account, at least until we get the website up and running. And my contact information is Doug_McKay. I'll be the one from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Of course, you can also send me an email. Remember that you can go in and sign up for a 30-day free trial with Stealth Analytics. It is a powerful intuition amplifier that we built, and you can do that through stealthtrader.com or send me an email at d.mckay@stealthtrader.com. So each morning we come together and I talk about the market structure, the key numbers macro to micro, the trends macro to micro, and then we look at what the hypotheses are for the day and what our trade levels are going to be and our targets. So we're going to do that. Of course, we start with the routine because we are preparing ourselves for trading each day. So we start and go through the basics before we get into some more in-depth chart analysis. So if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, you might want to skip ahead a little bit until we get into the volume profile charts. But we can't skip this because having a good routine is part of good trading. Before we do anything, I've got to get the legals out of the way. This information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand the knowledge of business trading. It's not for trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for the trades or investment decisions you make. Trading futures or any instrument involves the risk of loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to your financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors can lose more than their initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Okay, so let's get right to the numbers. Don't want to go overtime today. Of course, today is Canada Day. The markets are open in the U.S., but they're closed in Canada. Should see somewhat lighter volume today, but I don't think it's going to really affect the markets too much. Of course, the big number above us is this 1960 all-time high, and the high for the month. It's also the high for year, and I don't think it's going to hold. Our open of the month is 1954.50. So keep that, write that down, and keep that in your journal so that you can refer back to whether or not we remain, positive above that and continue to have a positive month in July. But if we get below it, then the bears might try to put the pedal to the metal. Nothing really else jumps out in terms of the macro numbers, so let's jump right down into yesterday. It looked like we were going to get another neutral day, but they finally took it down and broke the IB by 1 tick before rallying into the close. But in the Globex going into yesterday, we had an open at 51.75, a high of 53.75, and a low of 48. We opened the RTH in in range at 1952. We had a normal variation. We broke the IB, but we broke it way outside of the pocket. It was a very late break yesterday, and basically, we talked about this yesterday morning. It was going to be a rotational day, and it certainly was. Our initial swing high, 53.25. Swing low, 50.50 for 2 3/4 point swing. The initial balance high, 56.75, which happened to be our day high. Our initial balance low, 50.50 for 6 1/4 point initial balance. All our intraday numbers were higher. Our 12:30 number was 54.50. That is the open of the month now as well. So you can see how this 12:30 number will comes into play. Our RTH high 56.75 our low 50 and a quarter, and our close 54.50, and then we had the VPOC shift up to 1952. 20-day ATRs, just over 11 on the 20-day RTH, just under 13 for the full session, and just over 7 for the Globex. And then you can see our value area high, 54.50. See how that number keeps coming up. Value area low, 51.50 for a 3-point value area. And you can see that we had one of the latest breaks I've seen in quite some time on the IB. Nothing else really jumps out. Let's go over to the daily report. Our 20-day ATR targets right now, I don't think we've gone higher. Let me just see where we're trading at right now. We did just put in a new Globex high at 58 and a quarter. Going back to the ATR numbers, 1958 and a quarter, and we'll have to keep an eye on that if they continue to push it up. But that gives us our 20-day ATR targets to the upside at 1966.50 and to the low side 1945 and quarter. News for the day, we have ISM manufacturing at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, and just before it we've got final manufacturing. But it's the ISM manufacturing that you want to pay attention to. And you've also got construction spending and tip economic optimism and manufacturing prices. So lots of news at 10, so be careful. And if you're in a trade, tighten up your stops. If you're not in a trade, wait for the news to come out. So let's go take a look at the macro to the micro within the trend. Monthly, very strong trading. 1957.75. We're above range and above value. I think this 1960 should get tested today. If we find some initial buyers in the open, I think they're going to go up and test it, put in a new all-time high right away. But the trend, and very much to the upside, you got good slope and separation, and this blow off top just continues. Going down to the weekly, same thing. We tested the 20 SMA a couple times, but every time they pop back up, and we moved higher. We got good slope and separation on the weekly. The trend is very much intact on the weekly. On the daily, same thing. We came down and tested 20 SMA, never broke below it, and now we're trading back above the 9 and the 20, and we've got slope and separation, and the trend continues. Now, there is a possibility, I think it's very slight, that if we fail to break that 1960, we could come in here and have a head and shoulder pattern. I don't think this is going to be the case, though. I think we blow through that 1960. And you can see that we've got a measured move here at 1963.75 at the 100% extension from the last swing low, and then, of course, the 127 extensions all the way up there at 2007.50. And I really think the number is 2010 for the rule of 10 to kick in once we test those 2000s. It looks like, they want to take us there, but we have to trade what we see, not what we think. In terms of the geometrics, I've taken the opposing fork because, as I said when I put it in there, that it still really hadn't been validated, but I wanted to see what the structure looked like. So right now there's no real opposing fork. You could try to take it off of here. Let's just see what that looks like. Come on. Yeah, see it. Even if I do a modified shift on it, it's too shallow. Yeah, it's not one that I would put in there. But the key thing right now to watch on the geometric chart is the fact that we're riding the lower line of this short-term upward sloping fork, and looking like we're going to come back up and test the upper line of the intermediate. If we break below 1952.75, you could look for a move down, but I don't think we're going to move that low down into that 1850 area to test the the center line of the intermediate upward sloping fork. So really not giving us any great information other than we could hold the line here again and go up and test the upper line of the intermediate fork up here at 1971.50. So I would mark that 1971.50 as a possible destination target today, especially if we get initiative buyers stepping in. Let's take a look at the intraday trends coming into the RTH session, see if we're in a trend on any of the time frames. You can see we do have a trend going here on the 4-hour. Good slope, good separation. So you've got trend coming into the marketplace on the 4-hour. Let's take a look at the 30-minute. Same thing with the 30-minute. You've got good slope and separation. We've got a trend coming in to the RTH on the 30-minute. On the 15-minute, same thing. We came down and tested the 20, but we popped up. And we've got a little bit of a technical gap on the 15-minute, likely close out, especially with this doji right here. Gap close would bring us down into 1956.75 area and take us into testing the range. So let's take a look at the big picture. And let me just bring this up because I was talking about it yesterday, so I might as well bring it up again today. All right, so I put this out over the weekend. I wanted everybody to start thinking in terms of the option logic. Right now we've gone up, and my main hypothesis yesterday was accepting this 1953 and a rotational day with an upward bias towards that all-time high. You can see now we're trading above this 1956.75, and the first target above is this 1958.75. This 1956.75 is going to be a key level for us. So let's take a look at the composite. All right, so what I would be doing is our range high for yesterday was 56.75. We're currently trading above this this level. So of course we're going to be opening outside of value, outside of range. Anytime we do that, we have to look for initiative buyers stepping in and taking us higher. First destination above is this 1958.75, but just in front of it, we've got the overnight high at 1958.25. So I'd be targeting the 1958.25 on the open if we reject this 1956.75. Inside of 56.75, you've got the value area high, which is the larger microcomposite, and I forgot to move that over into today. Let me just do that. And you can see nothing really changes. The microcomposite VPOC going back all the way to 05.26 is still 53. The accepted value higher. I think we're going up to make all-time new highs above 1960. But we have to watch, this level at 56.50. The first spot you want to look for is just inside of value yesterday and the value area high for the larger microcomposite. Of course, the big number below at 56 and inside value and inside range is down here at the 1953 and 1952, with that 1950-50 being a key level to hold. If we lose that 50-50, then I'd be looking for a bigger rotation with the first destination down here at 1947.75, and the other side of that balance being 44.25, which is just above the value area high for the last 6 days, microcomposite at 43.50. So let's take a look at the overnight, start moving our levels over. So right now we have an overnight high, and again we still have time, so we could go and take this out even before the the open at 58.25. Our overnight low is down there at that 1953, 53.50. So it's right on the midpoint of yesterday's profile and right on top of the VWAP and just below the gap fill at 1954.50. So VPOC right now I don't think is going to shift overnight, and that's at 1956.75, which is basically the range high for yesterday. So taking a look at this and how you would trade it, really simple today. Okay, above 1956, you want to stay long. So if they come here, down here, and they bounce off of this 56.75, they're rejecting the long-term price rejection, and they're rejecting the range high from yesterday and where they found buyers and sellers at the overnight VPOC at 56.75. If we bounce off of there, get long into 58.25, with 58.75 being the main target above right now. And of course, we've got a real big target here as well at 1960 all-time high and the year high and the last month's high. So look for 1960 to be tested if we hold above this 56.75. And then you got to be careful. Don't try to fade this because I think that we've got a bigger move. We got an ATR target at 1966.50. Sorry, we got the measured move, which is the 100% extension from that last swing low at 63.50. And then we've got the ATR target at 66.50. And 66.50 would be the first place that I would even consider trying to fade. But again, my recommendation to you is if you're not long, okay, above the range, look for a spot to get long. Use whatever you have within your toolbox to find a spot to get long. Inside of range, okay, I'd be looking for the gap close, okay, down here at the 54.50. That's the month open. That's the 12:30 number. That's the close and the gap. So my target inside of, and it's the value area high. It's all these things. So that is going to be a pretty decent trade. You want to get funded before you get to the 55.50. Why? Because 55.50 is the value area high. So your first target inside to get funded is going to be the 55.50, but I think you got to hold on for the move down to 54.50. And obviously, if we haven't taken out the overnight high by then I'd be looking for the overnight low to get taken out at 53.50 and a move back inside of value and back to balance at 53 and the most accepted price at 53. And then just below that, you've got 52. So between this 54.50 and 52, and really you can even add in 51.50, you've got a lot of juicy targets. You've got a little bit of an LVN here at 53.50, but I would be expecting a bounce off of 53 anyway. So just be careful. But once inside of value, I think we get a destination play, and the sellers try to push us down and take out these targets and test the value area low for the 80% value area. So I'd be looking for responsive buyers to really step in this area right here versus seeing them. But I think it's going to get really choppy inside of this range from yesterday. So just pick your levels. You really can't enter a trade in here. The only place I would even attempt to enter a trade is probably for the bounce off of this 53. But with those targets below, I think it's dangerous. But you could take it because you get long at 53.25, 53.50 area, but you'd have to put your stop below 51.50, so you'd have your stop either at 51.25 or 50.75. Of course, below value, then you're looking for this test of the CLVN at 50.50, which also happens to be right at the IB low from yesterday and just one tick above the 50.25. So I'd be using that as a trade area, and below that, okay, you've got the move down to take out the naked VPOC at 48.50, but then we've got the 47.75 just below it, and that would be my main target below value and below range from yesterday, with the lower side of that being down here at the 44.25. But down here you've got a range high at 43.75 and the naked VPOC that we left down there at 43. So you could get a push through down through that 44.25 and take out this test the value area low and take out this 43. So I'm going to move this just down here so it encompasses the 43 to the 44 area and use this as a slush area. Remember, wait to get above the 44.25 to get long. Wait till, if you're not short already, wait for the break below the 43, because then that puts us out of value, and I'd be looking for a move back down into this 1940 down here. And then, just in case we see more weakness, the other side of that balance is 38. Come on. All right, so that's what I'm looking at on the ES. Let's just take a quick look to see how that looks like on the Keltner. We are trading in the upper channel of the Keltner. A test of the upper Keltner line will take us up to 59.25 and likely walk the line up to 1960 and put in a new all-time high. A retest of the center line will take us back down into that 53, 54 area with all those targets down there. And a break below that takes us down into that 1948.25 and the target of the naked VPOC at 48.50 and the CHVN at 47.75. So Keltner is looking very good against the numbers. Let's take a quick look at the Russell. And again, I've already done the work on the Russell, so we're going to be opening up here at 1193.80. I did the half gap when it was trading 92 was 1191. So with another, you're probably going to get a half gap in around this 1992 or this 1192. And that works because you've got the CLVN here at 1192.70. So I'd be looking for a test of the half gap and a test of the CLVN at 1192.70. Below that, then I'd be looking for a rotation back down to test the microcomposite 10-day range high at 1189.50. And just below it, you've got 1189 range high from yesterday with the close and the value area high sitting right here at 1186.60. Inside of that, look for a rotation down to this 1187.22 and a test of this 1185.50 area again. But I think as long as we hold above range, my main target has been and continues to be this 1195.90, which is the former microcomposite VPOC, where we tried to hold value after going and making an all-time new high at 1203.80. So this is a very important level, and I think it gets taken out today. We've been working our way up to it. So if we hold above this 1192.70, don't try to short this until we get to 1195.90, and I really think that will probably push up to test the 1200s if we come up here and accept this value in around 1195.90. Russell really looks strong right now for a retest of 1200s. They didn't get the rule of 10 the last time. They only got to 1203.80, and we got slapped back down by the sellers. So I think this time they get into the 1200s. Your target's got to be 1203.80 as your first destination, but 1210 has got to be the real destination. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at in Russell, and you can go back and read the the larger hypotheses that I posted in the room earlier. But we don't have a lot of time on these sessions, so I'm trying to speed them up. Yesterday I took the gold trade. It was a beautiful setup, so I just want to review it with you. Sorry, that is not gold. This is gold. So we had the flag formation yesterday, okay, and the breakout, okay, if you remember, was at that 1120 area. I'm sorry, 1320 area, and I said this is a perfect setup because when you look at the composite for gold, and last week I talked about this as well, is that we had broken out of balance and come up and made a really strong move, and then we were basically all of last week we were consolidating and accepting value in around this 1316, 1317 area, and the value area high was around 1320.30 yesterday. It's shifted up slightly with the move yesterday, but this also coincided with the flagpole measured move. And so I said if we got long, and I took those two ES trades, and I had a bit of fear creeping in, and I took those off earlier. They're both positive trades, but I left a lot on the table. Then I took the gold trade and had a really nice gold trade. I was a little mad at myself. I was up over $1,000 on a one lot on the runner, and I was hoping that I could catch the bigger move because the measured move on this flagpole formation is all the way up to 1362.70. I wasn't expecting it to go to 1362.70 yesterday, but I was hoping that we would get above that 1330 area and hold, and we only got up to the high at 1330.40, and then we rotated back down. Well, I ended up getting stopped out at where did I get stopped out? 1325.40. So I mean, I still made $550. It wasn't a bad trade, but I could have managed it a little bit better. And now I've got to wait and see where I can get back in. So what I'm watching is this 1329.50. If they get back above this 1329.50, I'll get back into this trade again because, again, that 62 measured move is still valid right now. So I want to be in this. But, we had a strong move yesterday. We're likely, going to come around and chop around this, this 1328. 27 area, maybe come back down and test the 1323.20 other side of balance. But if we hold and break above this 1329.90, I think you got a nice move to get funded and a test of the CHVN up here at 32.80, and I'll get in and get funded for that and then hold on to this because there's really not a lot to hold us down here all the way right to 1146. A little bit, and this is an invalid CLVN, so let me get rid of that. There's a little bit of resistance here at around the 38 level, but really, to me, once we get in above this area, I think we're going to push to at least 1346.60 area, if not the 53. And then above 53, then I think we get our 62 measured move, with the two big numbers up here being at 66.60 and 78.30. So that's what I'm looking at for gold. If we get below this 1390, just look for them to drift back down to test the range. The range. The 50% from yesterday is going to be somewhere in around this CLVN at 2310, 22 area. You might even come back and test the value area high from the micro-composite range at 1320.40 where we started the breakout and the move higher. But I think we're likely to see some chop around here. But if they do get above the 29.60, then I think you've got a possibility of coming up and testing the Globex high so far at, what is it? The high is 34.90, but you've got room to get funded up to the 32.80. So just keep an eye on that. So that's what I'm looking at. That's going to conclude our morning session. I'm going to go ahead and post the charts. As always, have a happy Canada Day for all of our Canadian traders, and trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.